Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have the review of the 1:72 scale HG Byakuchi from the Kyokai Senki series lineup. Now, I'm pretty sure you're thinking, oh, why am I reviewing this now while in Japan it was released like 1 or 2 weeks ago? Yes, I'm aware of that, and recently Gundam-based Korea has been, I don't know, not doing their jobs, and they've been releasing stuff in a very odd way. They've been releasing the important stuff much later and releasing the crap stuff, like the crappy stuff, like earlier. So I really don't know what's going on with Gundam-based Korea, but because of that I've been getting a lot of delays, but hopefully it stops happening since the Kyokai Senki anime has also officially started in Korea as well. Anyway, so this is the Byakuchi, which I always found it a little bit odd where they would release this first before the main character unit, which is the HG Kenbu. But anyway, let's get on to the review. Now, first of all, I would like to mention that I really enjoyed building this kit. It was really fun. There's no polycaps inside, so in the long run, this will last much longer compared to a kit that uses polycaps. Now, for those who don't know what I mean, is that polycaps are basically made out of rubber, and even rubber will deteriorate in the long run as well. Now, at least the polycaps made by Bandai are very well made, so they do last longer. But for those who have, used other polycaps from different companies, will kind of know what I mean, especially Flame Toys. Yeah, anyway, let's get on to the review. Now, first of all, I would like to mention, as mentioned, this does not use any polycaps, so that's that. And now let's look at the components. So first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the Byakuchi unit itself. Now, they do have a term for this, but I'm still having a little bit of trouble pronouncing that, so I won't be saying the short version, but they're basically called the Automobile Artificial Intelligence Mount. So yeah, anyway, so episode 1 is out, so you should be able to watch it in some areas. And let's see what we get. So other than the main unit, here we have the stuff. So number 1, let's get stickers. You get a sticker decal sheet, so for those who want to customize or plant in your own signature number, you can always do that. And then we get a sticker sheet. Now, this may look like a lot. This may look like a lot of sticker sheets, but it's not. Most of these stickers are placed in very small, detailed areas. Now, I guess if I had to point out a big one, it would be this blue one and then this yellow one. But other than that, I think most of it can be colored on your own. So no need to worry. This may look like a lot, but it's not actually a lot. So, and there are certain parts that I colored, and some yellow stickers I could not color because I forgot to buy a golden Gundam marker. So that's that. We get a shield, very typical basic looking shield, I like that. We get multi-purpose hands. Now handguards, regarding handguards, you only get one set of handguards, so every time you swap out hands you need to replace those. So currently you get a set of multi-purpose hands and then a set of fully open hands. That's always good. And we get basically a gun. So I believe the manual calls this, the back of the manual calls this a little bit odd. So this is the 60mm portable auto cannon with the drum magazine. So what I also like this is one of the few cases with that we're actually seeing a drum magazine on a gun. So yeah, this is pretty cool if you ask me. And we get a dedicated trigger finger here. Now the fingers are I believe this is the more correct colors, where there's supposed to be like half white on the fingers, while the other hands, all the entire finger areas are just black. So there are some little bit color differences. So I believe this, according to the box art, this is the more correct color. And we do get some leftover parts. So number 1, here we have this. This is actually the connector for holding the gun onto the backpack. So you're supposed to hold hold the gun like this on the backpack. Now this is for the part that we're currently using is for the right side of the backpack. But if you want to put it on the left side of the backpack, this is the one you actually use. So that's that. So this is basically a repeat part when you think about it. And then we get these two parts, which aren't actually exactly used on the manual. It's actually crossed out. So I'm not really sure what these are. For those who have any idea, do let me know. Alright, so now let's get into the good stuff. So I'm pretty sure if you guys are wondering, how big is this thing? So I did say this is 1:72 scale. So here is a typical 1:144 scale HGUC kit to be more specific. You can see there's a bit of a size difference, but keep in mind if this were to be the same scale, then this would be much smaller. So keep that in mind. And keep in mind the legs are kind of on the folded position. Granted, you can't exactly straighten them up, but it's still a higher position. And I think they nailed the perfect scale on this one. So yeah, and they are actually going to release a bigger version of the Kenbu later in the full mechanics line, and I am looking forward for that as well. Alright, so now let's get on to the review. So let's start with the head part. So the head, definitely loving the head, because I believe Kenbu definitely had more of a eye, like a typical Gundam style eye-ish version, where instead of a visor. This one actually has a full-fledged visor, which I really love. Of course, I think the visor color was a little bit too light, so I think if you want to really point out that it has a visor, maybe you can color the inside of the visor with a metallic blue or a different, basically a light bluish color to give out them more, to emphasize that aspect. But nonetheless, it's very good, and a lot of people were wondering how, regarding the heads, is the yellow parts all going to be sticker? And luckily, no. All these yellow sections you see are all color separate pieces on the head, so that's a very good news. Now, technically, these green sections, they're supposed to be stickers. They actually give you a mixed, the sticker sheet. If you look at it closely, I would have actually used the stickers if they were just the metallic green ones, but no, they actually give you a metallic green with the yellow outline. So it's going to cover, and these pieces are already yellow, so I thought it was really unnecessary to use that, so I just used a metallic green Gundam marker, and it worked like a charm. Now the head can go down that much, and then up that much, and then it could go side to side because the main connection is on the neck is a ball joint. So keep in mind, it's not the head that has a ball joint, it's actually the lower section that actually has a different connection there. So keep that in mind. So it can go down and up pretty well, thanks to the aspect. And yeah, definitely loving this design. Now let's look at the main body. Now the main body, regarding stickers here, number one are these gold stickers are inside here. Now these are kind of like pistons, as far as I can tell. So you might have seen some promo pictures regarding the Kenbu, where regarding the arms, you can obviously the arms itself, and you know what, let me just take off the missile launcher. There we go. So you can go rotate the arm 360. You can go to this, give me a moment, you can go to the side 90 degrees, and then obviously we do have the arms can go actually up and down like that. So let me just straighten this up. So this is the regular position on this joint, but you can go down that much. That's actually a lot, something that we don't see in gunpla. So down that much, and then you can also go forward like that. And as you can see, the gold parts here actually kind of work like a piston, or they just give you that illusion. It's not really a piston gimmick, but yeah, it just gives you that illusion. So I thought that was a very cool gimmick. Now, when you're moving the arms, if the front parts of here are actually moving, that means it's not fully plugged in. So make sure you fully plug in this front part as well. So that's that. Ooh, there we go. So yeah, the arms were very impressive. And regarding the arms, once again, other than the basic joints, you can move the arms, can rotate 360 like that, the lower arms. And then as you can see, here is the arm structure. So the arm structure here is that we have a joint here and here. So instead of like a fully typical Gundam-ish arm, we have this part, which is kind of like, a very interesting and more, how should I say, modern-ish design. So obviously, bend-wise, we get a decent bend going on here. So we get a decent bend. Let me just rotate this to the front. So yeah, get a decent bend. I believe you can go backwards if you want to do so, something that we don't see in gunpla. And yeah, the hands are ball jointed hands. That I just knocked it off. And then let me actually reconnect that. And the hand sections also have its own connection, so you can rotate that around as well. Now regarding the stickers, most of the yellow stickers that you see are supposed to be wrapping around these handles here on the arm guard. So yes, so there's 4 of those, which is why we have 4 of those yellow stickers. So not too bad when you think about it. And I feel like and since I didn't really buy any markers for the correct color, I did not apply them, and I don't mind these being black, to be honest. Alright, and then one thing you guys should know is that when you can actually move the arm a little bit upwards as well, and there's a flap so that you can actually do that. So they really put some consideration in the engineering. Alright, now let's get the backpack. So backpack, we had this missile launcher here. This is a pretty simple build. The only part that is a sticker is this entire blue area here. Now if you peel off this blue area, then it will have the same color as these gray areas. So yeah, if you don't like that, you can always not apply it. And the missile launcher has been, made pretty well, and you do have some articulation here. So once you have it attached to the backpack, there's one joint here, another joint here, and then there's 3 joints basically. So you can move it pretty much any position you want, except for moving to side. So there is no swivel there. So that's that. And then I did show you guys the example of the rifle. You can always attach it to the back, onto the back. Let's see now. There we go. It's kind of like a clipping mechanism, so it won't have, it shouldn't be falling off that easily. But you can also, what you can do using those joints, you can always extend it like that. So if you want to like have an automated version where you want to make sure the gun is like coming front to you, you can do that. So this is a pretty cool gimmick, despite being simple. All right, now let's get the main body. We've seen the piston gimmick, so let's see how the body articulation works. Oh yeah, regarding the body, you can actually take off the backpack, and this is the part without the backpack, and there's these vents going on here. Those are supposed to be stickers, but I did not apply those. And even though you do apply it, when you apply the backpack, it actually gets covered up. So it doesn't really matter whether you apply it or not. So it's really up to you. Now the main body, let me just there we go. So the main body is pretty well done. So it can go 360 entirely on the top. Now technically there is a joint on the bottom here, but it's on an angle, so which is why it's not really easy to move. But if you want to, you could technically do this. You can move the main upper body like that. It kind of moves on an angle, so that's really cool if you ask me. And then you can go downward that much, and then upwards that much. Yeah, because that's all the way the joint allows it. And since we're on the back here, we have a back skirt that flaps around, so nothing too special about that. So yeah, definitely it does have some really amazing articulation that we don't see every day. Now the legs, so these parts are a little bit too stiff for my taste. The joints here are a little bit too stiff, but once again they're not breaking, so they're fine. So you can go forward a lot and then backwards a lot, and then you should be able to go to the side 90 degrees as well, or slightly more thanks to the open area. Now the leg articulation is something that I personally need to get some used to, but for now let's talk about the stickers. So these black sections here are supposed to be stickers. I decided to use a black under marker to color it up, and I might have accidentally scratched the part there. So yeah, these parts can be colored pretty easily. And then on the knee section here, the square area that's popping out, that's supposed to be a yellow sticker. Once again, I did not apply that. If I actually had gold Gundam markers, I would have actually colored those as well. Now the legs. Now I'm not intentionally folding these legs like this. These legs are like this. You cannot go forward more than this. I'm trying to bend forward, but it's not. So this is like the base mode, but you can fold it backwards like that. So there's one articulation there, and we do have a nice side swivel going on here for those who are curious. And then we can bend here, and then there's another bending point here, so you can go forward, and you can go forward like backwards like that. But oddly enough, you can't really straighten it up. I mean, I'm pretty sure with some modification you could technically do that, but with as it is, there's no way you can do so. You can go backwards a lot. That's actually a lot, and then forward, pretty decent. So you can go slightly more than the basic standard like location, if you ask me. So the leg articulation is definitely something I need to get used to, because I'm not used to these type of structures, and so which is why making the kit stand on its own, it does take me some time. Alright, so the legs, I mean the feet. The feet are not your typical ball jointed feet. They're all in joints. They're all connected joints. So number one, the feet. They are not capable of moving. I mean, they could slightly wiggle side to side, but they're not capable of rotating. Number two, you have control of each toe. I'm just gonna call these toes. So yeah. So the front toes you can move up and down. And then there's this middle joint which allows you to rotate it side to side. So depending on the angle or how you position it, you need to control these. And on the back one, you are also able to control to movement side to side. This one does not move up and down. So yeah, you have to make sure that you know where you're locating your once you have it on a certain ground, you make sure that everything is touching the ground like that. And keep in mind, it's not a flat feet. Technically, the surface that's actually touching the bottom are like these areas, the end tips here. So yeah, if you don't get that properly, you're going to have a little bit of a wiggle going on here on your kit on certain areas. Alright, so once again, we've seen the basic articulation of the kit, and I say this is amazing. It definitely has certain articulation that we don't see in certain kits. It has an interesting structure, once again, that we barely see in Gunpla, and the anime is definitely interesting, and I'm really into the lineup. So once again, I'll be right back with the one final demonstration where it has everything slapped onto it, and we'll call it a day. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So here we have the everything, like all the equipment attached to the Byakuchi, and once again, I really love it. So we have the machine gun slash the mobile cannon, and then we have the shield on the other arm, and I'm currently doing the double hand pose, and then we have the missile launcher out, and once again, now the one of the legs is on an angle, so which is why I actually adjusted the feet so it can hold its ground more properly, and yeah. So that's pretty much it for the review. So one thing, if I haven't mentioned, that we have all these ports here. So definitely I'm seeing some customization here. And obviously they're going to reuse this mold for other characters as well, because we already know, other than the Kenbu, there's 2 more units that are pretty much the same base as far as I know. But I'm also really interested in the other enemy mech units, because we have seen a lot of announcements regarding those. So I am looking for those as well. Especially, and there's also another truck that's supposedly able to carry these guys around. Anyway, that's pretty much it. This was the review of the 1/72 scale HG Byakuchi from the Kyokai Senki series. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave them comment below. Once again, I really am enjoying this lineup, and it has really high potential, high quality. The color separation is very decent, so I do recommend it. Anyway, until then, see you guys next time.